What is going on, people? Today, I get to talk about X-Men The Last Stand in 4K Ultra HD, and I got that coming up for you next. So, X-Men The Last Stand. I already told you guys how much I really loved X2. And I was really excited about this movie, even though I had heard about a lot of production problems and a switching of the director. And I had felt like Bryan Singer really set himself up for an excellent sequel to X2. And to just jump ship and go into Superman, I was kind of a little worried about that. But besides that, I just wanted more X-Men. And hey, I got it. Brett Ratner is the new director here, and he is the kind of director that is just going to give the studio what they want and put out a product that people aren't going to absolutely revolt against, but at the same time really please the studio. And that is largely what he did here. These X-Men films cost a lot for Fox to make, and Fox at the time wanted to pare this cast down. And one way to do that is to do the things that this movie really wants to do. And without getting into spoilers, I can't go any more, but what I will just like to say is the way that this movie treats some of its characters is just deplorable. There is no excuse for it. They just want to trim this cast down to a more manageable cast that they can get more of a profit from, and it shows because characters are just really treated without the love and care that they deserve in this film. You get into the Phoenix and the way that she is treated here, and also I just feel like this should have been its own movie, because there is also a second subplot with this cure that they have and what the government is going to do with the cure. Look, all of this should not be in the same film. There should be one film with the Phoenix and another film with the cure. I'm not saying that they both aren't interesting plot lines. I'm just saying that they shouldn't be put together into a movie. They both need time to grow. But that doesn't mean that this movie is all bad. It has great action. I will say it is great action. It has wonderful cinematography that I'm sure we'll talk about. And it also brings in Kelsey Grammer as Beast. I really love the casting of Kelsey Grammer as Beast. And even though he's not the Beast that is in films today, this is still the person that plays my Beast. He will always be Beast to me, Kelsey Grammer. Look, I can talk about this movie for days, but I will just say that it is a very mixed bag that has excellent action, but two plot lines that shouldn't be smacked up into each other, and really, they need to treat these characters a lot better than this film treats them, and for that, I will give X-Men The Last Stand a 5 out of 10. And getting into the video quality of X-Men The Last Stand, this movie actually had a 2K digital intermediate when released, so they have stuck with that 2K digital intermediate and upscaled this to 4K. With that being said, this movie has a very different cinematography style than the rest of the X-Men films. This is a more grainy and a more rich cinematography style that I particularly really like, just by the way that it looks. It's just pretty how the colors pop off the screen. Detail work is the least upscaled from the Blu-ray, but that is only because that Blu-ray looks really excellent as far as detail is concerned. But what is really noticeable here is the HDR, and that is because HDR here just really gives the saturated color palette that this movie has a real punch, and it gives the cinematography style a real voice here, and I just really dug the richness of the color palette that this film has in 4K and how much of it just pops off of the screen. It is wonderful. Black levels here are even more excellent than the Blu-ray, and shadow details here are top notch. I will give this an 8 out of 10. I will say that detail work is minimal, and that is why this is an 8, because everything else here is truly, truly top notch. And getting into the audio here, this was given a DTS HD 6.1 mix when on Blu-ray, and like I've stated with every other release in this box set, they have just ported what was on the Blu-ray to this 4K Blu-ray, and that is a shame, but what we get is a excellent, excellent audio mix, and that is largely because, hey, we're dealing with the Phoenix here, who has some pretty outstanding and crazy powers, and that is carried over to this audio mix. You get a lot of speaker separation and just loud ambient noises from her powers, and that is awesome. You also get Magneto's powers that are truly amped up here, and when he lifts the Golden Gate Bridge, literally you will have to lower your surround sound and lower the volume because it is so loud and just glorious. So bass response is excellent as well. Surrounds are just as great as all of the other audio mixes that are on this box set, and I just really have always loved this audio mix, but unfortunately it's not Dolby Atmos, and we should have gotten Dolby Atmos, so for that I am going to give this a 9 out of 10. And the digital copy here is the same digital copy that was on the previous releases that were in this box set, so pretty much that means that this is a Fox digital copy, so you have to go to Fox's website, redeem the code for the digital copy, and then you can download the standard high definition version of X-Men The Last Stand on iTunes. And with special features, unfortunately, we get the same treatment that we got with X2, and that pretty much means that the only special features that we are given here on both discs, both the Blu-ray and the 4K Blu-ray that are in this box set, are the audio commentaries. There are 2 of them. Brett Ratner has one with the screenwriters, and then Avi Arad has one with the rest of the producers. It is really interesting to listen to Avi Arad talk about these Marvel films on a commentary. He doesn't normally do them, but besides that, all we get are some deleted scenes that are only on the Blu-ray, not on the 4K Blu-ray, because the audio commentary is on both of them. I'm going to give this the same grade that I gave X2, which is a 3 out of 10. You can't be taking away special features like this because it is, it's not good. And getting into my last looks at X-Men The Last Stand, look, this isn't of the quality that the original 2 films had. But when you put this in perspective, there is some good here. I will say that the storyline that involves the Cure is actually a really good idea that needs its own film to grow, and unfortunately it's put with the Phoenix storyline that has just done a real disservice here, and when you put them both in a film that is actually the shortest X-Men film, you're left with a movie that just feels very cluttered. And like I said about X2, where they really left a lot of time for character moments to be carried over into that film, there is no time for character moments in this film, because it is just all going to be a lot of fast-paced and a lot of action, and just cut to what they think people are going to like and cut everything else out. And when you add up all my scores for X-Men The Last Stand, you come out to a 25 out of 40, and that is pretty much because I didn't really feel like this movie was of the caliber as the two that came before it, and they still really screwed up the special features here and took away a lot. But if you do like X-Men The Last Stand and you are interested to see it in 4K, this is still a very pretty presentation. So, I have finally finished my X-Men box sets reviews, and next I'm getting into Halloween. That just came out in 4K, and when the new Halloween film comes out in theaters, I'm going to be reviewing that for you guys. So subscribe so you know when all of them videos come out. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. You're awesome, and you know it. And I will see all of you next time.